Aaron Whitlow.
Brandon Spivey. And we are the Markout Movie Podcasters.
And on today's episode, we are reviewing 90s, in my opinion, a 90s gem. Uh, and it is Houseguest. It's Brandon's first Sinbad led film.
Yeah.
Uh, you've seen him in like Jingle All the Way and
Yeah,
things
Simon
like
Jingle
that.
All the Way. In A Different World, I believe.
Hmm.
I didn't look him up. I looked up his movies just to see what else I had seen. I think it was just Jingle All the Way, and of course this now. But everything else I have not seen. There's a couple movies I do want to see. I want to see Cherokee
First
Kid.
Kid, Cherokee Kid was good. I liked it. I ain't gonna say it's good, but I'm a Sinbad fan. It's one of those things where when if it's a Sinbad led movie, I personally it's kind of like Polly Shore for me. It might not be. Although I would say this, a Sinbad movie is actually a pretty decent film. Whereas like with Polly Shore, it is you get what you get. But I like Polly. I'm not knocking him. I like Polly Shore. It's just that Sinbad. I enjoy Sinbad. Um,
I mean, I
he's one of
like.
my favorite comedians
I mean,
of all time.
I would say Pauly Shore had the better film career, though.
Mhm.
He had Son-in-Law. He had Encino Man. I know you're a really
He
big fan
had
of Biodome. Uh,
Biodome, in the Army now, Jury Duty.
I haven't seen those, but
Yeah,
Son-in-Law and Encino Man is what I really think of when I think of Pauly. And I think they're two 90s gems. Like, for him, well, not just for him, Sean Astin, Brendan Fraser was in Encino Man. It's just, I think that's probably his biggest film.
hmm
Even though I personally love, and I know you would agree, you personally love Biodome, and I personally love Son-in-Law the best. But I would say Encino Man's probably generally well known
yeah.
for the
Sino
best.
Man is well known. I think behind Biodome, my favorite Polly film would be in the Army now, and then I did like Encino Man. It's just like early Polly was like it was fun.
Yeah.
Um, I enjoyed it. I also would consider it a Goofy movie, Polly Shore film too, because he's in it. Uh,
Yes, he's Goofy's. No, he's not. He's not
uh,
Goofy's kid, but he's
it,
like the best
he's
friend.
Max's best friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Maximilian's best friend. But yeah, for Sinbad, Jingle All the Way, best known for that. Coneheads, he had a brief role in Coneheads. At the very beginning, he's the one that got them their fake IDs and stuff. Good Burger, he's Mr. Wheat. I didn't like him so much in that because they had him with a wig. And Good Burger it was a product of his time. Um, First Kid, where he's like the Secret Service agent and his
Yeah.
job is to guard the president's son. I think it's a Disney movie.
I
Um,
think so.
yeah,
I want to see
so
it,
that's
but
yeah.
I
I hope you do watch it. I liked it. I mean, I like Sinbad. Just Sinbad for me is one of those. First of all, Sinbad is a comedian. Is I always said this, and I stand on it. He's my favorite stand up comic. I don't say of all times, but he is like he's in my top five. I would say. I just love his comedy. I love his comedy. But I also love Richard Pryor, Eddie, and
yeah.
Mitch Hedberg. But there's other people that I liked as well. But with Sinbad, I love how relatable everything was that he said, and and I was able to see him live here in Bowling Green. It you know although it wasn't the greatest show because it wasn't really Sinbad because it wasn't Sinbad stand up like by itself. He spent the whole time essentially talking to the guy that's opening for him, and they're having a conversation, and he's like, now, young man, what do you know about this? Stuff like it was more like that.
Yeah.
Which it was okay. Maybe it's because he was still wrestling with his health then and couldn't do stand up like he wants to, But I was still blessed to be able to see him live in person, man. That's something that that will stay with me. So.
Oh yeah, especially if you're a big fan and you get to see somebody that you truly admire and you appreciate their comedy. Yeah, I mean, it'll stay with you.
It's like me and Marlon, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a big fan of Marlon, and I never thought in a million years I would see him live. I didn't even know he still done stand up, but it was a great show. He wasn't woke at all. Like some of these comedians now, they gotta watch what they say. He did not watch at all what he said, so it was just a great time. So, and I wish I could have saw like Robin Williams live though. I mean, that would have been the guy for me. Also Eddie, I love Eddie, but Robin was his stand-up's just completely different than his characters in movies. So I would have loved to see that, but yeah, I mean, it's good that you got to see Sinbad though.
Yeah. Speaking of Sinbad, so let's show a quick little trailer, if I can find where I put it, of this movie.
Sports fans, stick fights out here. Look who has the home team jumping through hoops. Sinbad drives the lane. Sets the pick.
I would pull this out. I would go to a natural color.
He dishes off. Now Sinbad applies the facial. Ladies and gentlemen, Sinbad is putting on a clinic. And the fans are going wild.
All right, I just want to show a little bit of it. So, Houseguest. Let me get to the synopsis of this movie. I'm just going to go from IMDb. Came out in 1995. In hot water with the mob over an unpaid debt, a con man poses as a family friend in an affluent Pennsylvania suburb. It stars Sinbad, stars the late and great Phil Hartman, who was absolutely a wonder, and I wish we got more from him.
Yeah,
and there's some other people in this film. The kid from Sandlot, he's in it. What's the name?
I don't remember his character's name in Sandlot. It wasn't Smalls.
No, it's
the one with the glasses.
I almost had it. It has an S in his name or something like that. But he's the one that loves Cindy Peppercorn or whatever, and he like pretend like he was drowning, and
Yeah.
It has quite a few little people, in this film. But the stars of the show.
Elephant in the room.
Yeah, I looked at it, and the elephant being Jeffrey Jones, who most famous for, I'd say Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Secondly, would be Beetlejuice. I think he's been most famous for Beetlejuice. But he was. I liked him at one point in his career. I really did. But the elephant is his charges and things they got into. Why he wasn't allowed to come back to Beetlejuice. He's, the elephant, as you said.
No, I got a question though. Do you think what he did is any different than what Kevin Spacey was accused of?
I don't think so.
But Kevin Spacey's, he's allowed to work again. He's playing the devil, which I think is a great role for him.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, I don't know all the situation with Kevin Spacey.
I mean,
I will say with Kevin, I will say this. I've always been a fan of Kevin Spacey's work. It is what it is. I've been a fan of his stuff.
Yeah, he's a tremendous actor.
Yeah, like he was. My first time experiencing Kevin Spacey was probably in the Negotiator with Samuel Jackson.
Yeah,
that's the first time I really recognized him. I did, and then maybe later on I seen what's that? 8 Monkeys or whatever. Well, no. What's the one
12
with the
Monkeys?
with Brad Pitt? No. The
12 Monkeys.
sins. Seven sins.
Oh, 7. Yeah, I was
7.
thinking
Yeah,
he
7.
wasn't in 12 Monkeys. That was Bruce
You
Willis.
know,
But
he is in 7. I'm
is
sorry.
Brad
7.
Pitt in it as well, or
Yeah, Brad Pitt's in 7.
no? I mean, 12 Monkeys. Is he in 12
No,
Monkeys
no,
as well?
no. No, he's not in 12 Monkeys.
It's
I
been a
don't
long
think
time
he is.
since I've seen. I didn't understand that movie when I
But
first watched.
but also, I'm not sure if Brad Pitt was in 12 Monkeys or not.
I want to say
I
he
don't
is.
remember. I
I
feel
want to
like
say
he
he is.
was.
Yeah,
If y'all know, comment. Let us know if he's in
pretty
12
sure he
Monkeys.
was. That was the most confusing
But
movie I've ever watched, though.
yeah, that probably make your list, right? Of movies that you don't want to see again. Um,
Yeah.
but I would say also for this Jeffrey Jones, I knew him mainly from Fresh Bueller's Day Off.
Hmm.
Uh, he was in Howard the Duck as well. I remember him in that.
Yeah.
And I remember him in a movie of like, was it like Mom and Dad Save the World or Save the Planet or Save something like that, where he was, and also in that movie where he was with John Ritter, and John Ritter buys a TV. Stay tuned.
Oh,
He
stay
buys
tuned.
a remote, and he gets to go into the TV shows, and
Yeah.
he's like the devil salesman type character. Um, yeah, so I remember him. I hate that he ended up doing what he did because he would have definitely really been in Beetlejuice, and
Yeah.
things like that. But
I'm not saying he shouldn't be allowed to work. I'm not saying he should. But I think if someone like Kevin Spacey's allowed to work, and someone like Victor Salva is allowed to direct, and in my opinion, he did a lot worse because he videoed it.
Victor Salva's
Yeah.
a tyrant. Yeah.
But if he's allowed to work, I don't understand why this guy isn't. But
I don't know. I
either
think
way,
I think once you've been blacklisted,
yeah, it really
that's
is. It is hard to come back from. I mean,
but I
Kevin
do want
Spacey's
to
back.
mention. Yeah, well, I didn't know that.
He
I
is.
do want to mention. You spoke a son-in-law.
Yeah.
So the guy that played the boss of Phil Hartman, he was the grandfather and son-in-law.
That's right.
That was the granddad, Walter Senior. But yeah, uh, this movie. What do you think about Sinbad as far as like
Oh, when we first,
the movie had a vibe, had a vibe the whole time with Sinbad.
who had a vibe with him?
I said the whole movie had a
Oh
sort of
yeah.
vibe with him.
Yeah. I mean, when we first he's introduced, and I just related to him so much, especially as a teenager. I mean, I know he's like a grown man at this point, but as a teenager, him fantasizing about becoming a millionaire or selling stuff to make a million. Yeah, I related to that. No, I didn't really relate it to so much as a 35-year-old man doing it, but yeah, he was such a likable character from the moment you see him on screen until the very end. But what I will say about this movie, it's not negative at all. I thought he was outperformed by Phil Hartman.
Absolutely. Phil Hartman, is so. He was so likable. He was so like every time Phil Hartman, and I would agree with you. Every time Phil Hartman came on the screen, he stole the show. He stole it. Just the way that he was like you felt like his character. You felt like you wanted to be friends with him.
Yeah. I also got the vibe. I don't know if you got this or if it's just me. I also kind of got the vibe this was kind of like a prequel to Jingle All the Way. Because Phil Hartman's having marriage issues. He's divorced.
He's in Jingle All the Way.
Yeah,
well,
he's divorced. He's the neighbor to Arnold's character in Jingle All the Way. Just the way his mannerisms just felt like the same character, but this guy was more likable than the Jingle All the Way character.
Isn't it funny? I just put that together that both of them were in that movie as well.
Yeah.
But they didn't share no screen time.
No
in
screen
Jingle All the
time.
Way.
He could have ended up being a mailman. I mean, Phil Hartman
Like-
basically looks like the same character in Jingle All the Way that he
Yeah.
does here.
Yeah,
But as I
Phil,
was
man.
watching it, I was like, this kind of feels like a Jingle All the Way prequel.
I felt like with Phil, especially with this movie, I thought that this was going to kind of set up Phil to be able to maybe have like springboard into like a career in
Yeah.
films as well, because I thought that he naturally was comedic. Him and Sinbad had great, like, to me it felt like that they really loved liked each other, was really
Yeah.
friends, really cordial with one another. I don't know if there's anything different from the set or whatever, but it just seemed like they really got along, and I just felt like I love how Sinbad cons his way into this, and doesn't really know what he does, but he knows that he has to be a vegetarian. Just he has to deal with all that. So
Yeah. I love the setup there at the airport because these thugs are after him, and he's overhearing a conversation between Phil Hartman and his kids, and of course he gets called back. Phil Hartman's character gets called back, but Sinbad goes instead, and it's the guy that's supposed to pick them up. Which to me didn't really make a lot of logical sense. If you ain't seen somebody in like 25 years, chances are. And plus, when you get to know this guy a little bit, he's got limited screen time, but still, once you get to know him a little bit, it's like, how are they ever friends?
yeah,
This dude is so uptight, so conceited. It's just, how are they ever friends?
I noticed there's some underlining. There's a lot of butt slaps and butt touches from Phil to
Yeah.
Sinbad's character. Did you notice that?
How could you miss it?
Yeah, I was like, what's happening here? Like, what happened at this camp? But like one of the thugs in the movie, Paulie, he's a shorter brother,
Oh,
Paul Ben Victor, who played him, who's had a history in different movies.
He's had a notorious career playing a thug.
Yeah, he played the thug. He was in, dude. He's in the new series of Everybody Hates Chris. They're making an animated series. I had no idea.
Yeah, Dawson told me about it.
Let's see. I'm trying to see what I most know him from, because he has the face where you've seen him and stuff, but you can't put your finger on where you've seen him in.
Yeah. Same with the other dude, the big dude.
Same with the other dude. Yeah.
I thought he looked familiar. For me, I was thinking maybe he was in Saved by Bell as one of the jocks on the wrestling team or football team with Slater, but I'm not sure. But I've seen him in a lot of stuff. I know that. He wasn't in Dumb and Dumber. I don't know.
No, he's not I know you thought he was the guy in Dumb and Dumber. At first, I was like, that's not the guy from Dumb and Dumber. I don't know, man. I just looked through his some of his filmography, and honestly, I can't name one thing. Now, this other guy, Tony Longo, who played the big brother, the bigger, younger brother, I guess. He was in 16 Candles as Rock. He was in Fletch. He was in Angels in the Outfield, I guess. A Racer with Schwarzenegger is Little Mike. But but none of those characters stands out to me. But I do know him from stuff. He's one of those guys.
I think he did a lot of TV work. I do remember him vaguely in Eraser. He's also a thug. He's part of the mafia.
He's typecast as Mafia Muscle, Mafia.
Yeah.
He plays the dummy. He plays a dummy in a lot of stuff. But yeah, man, I thought that the real Derek Bond, DDS, is a butthole. In total, I could see a situation where Phil Hartman's character doesn't really talk to him ever again. Like, it's no longer his friend. and Kevin is becoming his like best friend.
Yeah,
Um,
he was very egotistical, really conceited. You could just tell the way he talks. I mean, well, you don't even have to hear him talk, and it's bad to judge people by looks. When you look at him, you can just tell what he is. You know, you could just tell. But I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you though. I don't think they would ever talk again.
this movie has a similar plot to a lot of other films.
Yeah,
With the idea of someone's in trouble, they end up hiding out or spending time at someone else's family's house. They kind of disrupt the family dynamic, but for the better. And then they get found out, and then the family has to deal with whether or not they wanted them there or not. Son-in-law, perfect example of that. Although he wasn't like hiding out, but he was brought in for one role, but the family he kind of grew on the family and disrupted things.
yeah.
We talked about in the house with Queen Latifah and Steve Martin. I think that she was kind of scamming them to get
Yeah,
into
sure.
the house.
Sure.
Um, uh, Mrs. Doubtfire, maybe. I don't know if you throw that in. That it's not so much.
I
I thought
see
the
it.
dog was just running. But
I
yeah,
can see that. Mrs. Doubtfire. Just to be closer
yeah.
to his kids, he was scamming them, But yeah, there's been a lot. People said Get Out was similar to this, just a more dramatic tone.
Get out.
I could,
I never
I could
thought about
actually
that.
see it. I could see it that way. As a serious film, this is Get Out. But
Get out. If Get Out was if Get Out was a comedy, this is this.
yeah,
Uh, um, I did. What do you think about that scene where, like, first of all, this man goes to McDonald's and he orders 3 or 4 burgers, and then a large fry and a large drink, and it came up to $10. I was like, wow, that's good. But then for him, then he's like, oh, that's too much. How about one burger and two and a fry and a drink, and then it came up to just $4 and something. And I
yeah.
was like, not today, not in today's world. That doesn't happen.
Not unless you're ordering off the dollar menu.
So he had a quarter. He ordered, I think, 2 or 3 quarter pounder with cheeses,
Yeah.
and then like a fry, and yeah, I don't know, like something else. But yeah, McDonald's must have been a big sponsor of this movie.
Oh yeah, I've heard that like in every review. That McDonald's sponsored this movie. Like it feels like it because there's a lot of McDonald's in this movie from the beginning to the middle. I think even the end, they stop at McDonald's. I'm not 100% sure.
No, when they run it, they don't stop at McDonald's, but there is. I knew there's McDonald's fries at one point in the movie. He
There's a
stopped at
baby
McDonald's.
eating
The baby
a
eating the burger. Uh, I'm surprised they didn't stop at McDonald's to get the ice cream, but the ice cream machine's probably broken, so that's why they didn't. Uh, but um, yeah, there's a lot of McDonald's in this movie. But I don't know. Back then, I mean, McDonald's was featured in the '90s. McDonald's was featured heavily in stuff. You think about Richie Rich. He had his own McDonald's
He did. I
in
vaguely
his house.
remember it, but I do remember it.
Yeah. I can't. I think there. I feel like there's some other. Maybe maybe Flintstones. Maybe there's a Bedrock version of McDonald's in that movie. I'm not sure.
I don't
Uh,
remember.
uh,
Been a while since
yeah,
I've
it's
seen
been a
that.
while. I haven't seen that in so long. That'd be a good choice eventually to do.
The first
But
one, right? Not.
yeah, the first one. Never the Vegas one. No.
I haven't seen that
Um,
one, but since John Goodman and Rick Moranis didn't return, I just figured it would have been bad. Also,
Yeah.
Rosie O'Donnell didn't come back. I don't think
Yeah.
anyone came back, honestly. But
No.
when you got
No.
Stephen Baldwin replacing John Goodman, you know what you're in for. That's why I didn't watch
This
it.
is true. This is true. You're absolutely right about that. But what was your thoughts on uh, ST3. Steve, the boyfriend of
Um, honestly, kind of a play on Vanilla Ice. Like at this, it was
yeah, I figured that.
95. It was 1995. So Vanilla Ice's popularity is probably gone down hard. But still, though, his haircut, the way he talks, he's trying to be a white rapper type guy. He gave me vibes of Vanilla Ice. I like Steve though, and I love how Sinbad plays him.
Yeah.
That scene actually reminded me of the scene
He
between
said,
Arnold.
train truck.
Yeah, that scene on the train tracks reminded me on the railroad tracks reminded me of Arnold and Bill Paxton in True Lies.
Mm.
Just this one, I think this was much funnier, but I love how he scares him to death, and he thinks he's actually on the train tracks as the train's coming. Which I did too. Honestly, I was like, "Why is Sinbad so cool about this?" The train is literally right there.
You know what? Yeah, that was scary. That's actually pretty scary to watch. But you know what? I felt like this movie could have very easily been a long form palette for a show called Houseguest, where with you got to have Phil return, you had to have Sinbad return for it to work. And I think like Sinbad decided to move in with the suburban family as a house guest, and
Yeah,
and it has sitcom energy.
it does. Yeah,
So
it did. You're right. It did, and to me, it also had franchise energy. Like
yeah,
I could have seen the sequel to this. With these two characters. I don't know what it made because I had never seen the movie before. So, but like their chemistry was off the chain, man. It was really good. Like for like
do you have a way?
comedian
Do you have a
90s.
Do you have a way of looking that up to see what it made?
Yeah, I can look it up.
Um, yeah, they did have a lot of energy. It's like I love. There's a scene in the movie that I was just kind of so giddy over. It's like the scene where Phil. I'm gonna always just call him Phil Hartman. But Phil and Sinbad, they're on their way first to Phil's house, and and they're singing that camp song, the song from the camp, the summer camp. But and Phil's looking at them, and they just kind of stay in my dreams or whatever, but they just the way that Sinbad is like waiting for him to say it, and he's kind of saying it right after it. It's just I felt like I don't know how much of that was ad lib, but
Yeah,
I felt like they had fun making the movie, like
yeah.
especially them two together.
All right, it made 26 million on a $10 million budget, so it was
It made
profitable.
it was profitable, yeah. I wish it would have made a got a sequel or something. I would have loved to sing. And this came out in '95.
Yeah,
When did Jingle All the Way come out? Was that '97?
97.
Yeah, I wish I would have loved to have seen them two kind of have a share screen in Jingle All the Way, knowing that this movie existed. You want to see them together. You wanted to see them together again. But
I
yeah.
agree. Like it's a travesty that they didn't appear in Jingle All the Way together.
Oh,
And I,
they were in Conehead together too. Although
really?
they never shared screen time because Sinbad is in Conehead, Phil Hartman's in Conehead, but Phil Hartman's is a Conehead, not of the family, but he's of the race of
Yeah,
Conehead.
it's
You know,
been. I hadn't seen it movie in forever. I
yeah,
remember.
they
I remember
were,
Chris Farley in it,
yeah.
and of course Dan
I forgot I
Aykroyd
couldn't think of it.
and Jane as the parents. Like
Maybe another one to revisit. That's back when I felt like Saturday Night Live, SNL was producing some okay films. with Coneheads. I didn't like the It's Pat. I never liked It's Pat. I never liked the other one with oh man, he ended up becoming like a senator or a congressman. Uh,
I think I
the
know what
one
you're talking
like
about.
like I like you or you like me and it's okay. That guy. I never liked that one. They made a movie for him, but I did like Coneheads. I did like I like the Ladies Man.
I haven't seen
I
that
felt
one.
and then there was an SNL inspired. There was a superstar, but that's in the 2000s, I guess.
I like that
But
one.
there was,
Night
but there was
Rocksteady, I like.
Night Roxbury.
Just throwing it out there. 'Cause I know you don't.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I know. I'm glad you liked it. I
Oh,
got to
I love
revisit
that
it.
movie.
But there was also uh, SNL alumni acted films, like obviously. Well, I guess Wayne's World would be the most successful SNL film
I
that
mean,
came from
yeah, it's
SNL.
got to be an SNL film because
Yeah,
I mean it's Wayne's World.
it, it was a skit. Yeah, but I was saying, but they're like, what is the other one? The
Blues
like,
Brothers was one
um,
too.
but the stuff with Tommy, the stuff with Chris Farley, and uh, you know, and the stuff with like, I know that there's a string of SNL movies starring people from SNL.
Hmm.
It's not an SNL product like Happy Gilmore SNL, and it employed people that you've seen in SNL.
Yeah,
But
but
my
it's not an
point is,
SNL movie.
but it's not SNL movie, yeah. But my point is, there was that moment where those movies were kind of profitable, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually when you talk about SNL, I'm very shocked Chris Farley didn't do the Van by the River movie. I mean,
Oh, that would have been great. That would have
I,
been great.
it's actually shocking to me after the success of Tommy Boy that he didn't do that character again in a movie, a full length movie. But
I
yeah, I
like
mean,
Tommy Boy. I didn't so much like Black Sheep as much.
yeah,
I
Black
felt
Sheep.
like it was kind of like Tommy Boy, like a Tommy Boy light. But
Yeah,
I like Tommy Boy, not so much Black Sheep. I did like Beverly Hills Ninja.
you
I
did or
did
didn't?
like it.
You
I
did.
did. Yes,
I like it for how stupid it is.
I like it for how stupid it is. Yeah.
I recently watched it. I was like, man, it's bad. It's extremely bad, but it's hilarious. Chris Farley is hilarious in that movie. I give him props, man. He took a bad script and he made it funny. Now I don't remember Almost Heroes. Uh, I don't know. I don't remember that one. I think Matthew Perry's in that one.
Oh,
But
I remember that movie. It was yeah, the one where they was going. It was oddly similar to. I was like, I don't know if that was his last. I think
I
it was
think
his
so.
last movie.
Yeah,
But
he was supposed to do
what
Shrek, and he passed.
but what reminded me, was he going to be Shrek?
Yeah,
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
he had
You
filmed I
know,
think 80% of the lines for it.
I would kind of love to see that cut of him as Shrek. But it reminds me real quick of I watched The Substance, and I didn't know that Ray Liotta was going to play uh, Dennis Quaid's character. Dennis Quaid is in the movie, but Ray Liotta was going to play that character, and I can see Ray Liotta as that character, but Dennis Quaid kind of killed it as that character in that movie. You ain't seen it, but The
I don't
Substance,
even know
yeah,
what this movie is. I've heard all about it, but I have no idea what it is. I got it
yeah.
on my list, but to watch, it's not the political horror movie, is it?
No, no, no. It's body horror. It's
Dennis Quaid in a body horror movie. It just
yes, yes, he
seems
is.
odd.
It is. That's Reagan. He's in Reagan. You
I
talking
know
about
he's in
Reagan? He's in
Reagan.
Reagan. Yeah, but
He also has another movie that came out this year. He's working. I'm proud. I'm proud.
yeah,
Dennis
he's
Quaid's
working. I'm glad he's working. Yeah, I'm down for Dennis Quaid working. I was gonna say this. It's what another thing I was gonna say. This would be another fun list for us to do an episode of our top. I don't know how many we can squeeze out, but top 10 or top 15. I don't know or whatever. SNL movies, or and I will include movies featuring people from SNL doing like it don't have to be related, but just alumni doing stuff like movies. So I think that'd be a fun list too.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's just
Yeah,
random, but it sounds
it's
good.
random. It is random, but anyway, back to house guests. So the thing about this is PG. This movie was great for my grandkids to see. Um, but the thing about this movie, man, is like Sinbad comes in here. He has to pretty much wing it. He's faking it till he makes it with everything. He doesn't know who he is supposed to really be. I love that scene where he like the GHS or whatever, or the whatever it says
DDS.
the initial for the for the funeral
Uh,
home on his jacket. His jacket had initials on it, and he kept saying it stands for girls having stimulus, or different things. Like he kept saying like different ghetto Harlem, uh, you know, singers or something like that. Like and he just like saying different random things. It
did I
seems
miss
like it
the
was like
scene?
yeah, yeah, you missed it. It was the
I
scene
did.
where he's walking around. It's at the dinner party.
Okay, I
Uh,
remember the dinner party scene. I don't remember the funeral
and
home.
he opened the zip. He opened the bag, and the suit that he has, they just picked up, was
At the
for a
airport, yeah.
funeral home. It had
Oh, okay,
it had,
okay. I must have missed that. I don't remember him opening it, but I do remember him grabbing the suitcase
yeah,
several
yeah,
times.
yeah. He opened it, and and like he was gonna keep that suitcase, but yeah, but he was going through and talking about different things, what it could mean, and then like he has the run in at the party with uh, I got to talk about his best friend from back in his neighborhood too, but
I love that
he
guy.
has do you recognize him by the way?
Oh
Stan Shaw,
yeah, he was in Snake Eyes
Daylight.
and Daylight. He did a couple other stuff too.
He was in Monster Squad. He was one of the his detective superior.
Hey, that's
Uh,
right. That's
I
right. That's right.
I know him the most from Harlem Nights. He played the champ, the boxing champ in Harlem Nights. They had a list. He was very much like a Mike Tyson type character, but like in the 1930s or 40s, whenever that movie takes place.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, he's still around, man. He's still acting. But yeah, he's a lot older now. But yeah, it's good to see him in this movie. But no, I was going to talk about the guy who uh, Kevin West. Kevin West, who played the he played these dogs are making noise.
Who did he play, Aaron?
Uh, the wine dude, the wine sniffer guy, the guy that likes to taste wine.
Oh,
Kevin West, you probably know him. He played. He was in Biodome. I know him from Biodome. He was one of the scientists in Biodome. He was the scientist that studied the moths and butterflies and stuff like that. He was that guy.
oh,
Uh, but he was in Junior. He was a Linden executive. He was in Gone Assistant Executive as an intern. He was in Super Mario Brothers. I don't remember him in that at all.
poor guy. Although I don't hate that movie.
But yeah, I just know him. He's a character actor that's done a lot of different things. But he always plays like a geeky type of character.
Yeah,
But I knew him from Biodome.
of
So there's
course.
a connection to Biodome in this movie, man. There's two connections to Pauly Shore in this movie, and that's crazy. You got a Biodome and a son-in-law connection in this movie. Can we go for in the army now? Maybe. I don't know.
Only you can tell us. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, well, you gotta see. I'm not choosing sometimes, but
At least I don't think I've
yeah,
seen
I liked how much the family accepted him, and even when they found out that he lied,
Yeah.
I like how they were like, "No, he's my best friend. We got to go get him."
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you knew it was coming because you said it earlier. The theme of this movie is it's been done so much. You've seen it so many times. Oh, especially
Mhm.
now. It's still done today.
It's
But yeah,
cliche.
the family loves him, and even the wife loves him. Although I wasn't very impressed with that character, the wife.
The wife,
Yeah, I like the
yeah,
kids a lot more than her. She just, I don't know. They only had one little story arc with her, and that's when Phil Hartman was being forced to work on a project that really interfered with what his wife was doing. And of course he was going to do it because he didn't want to get fired, but Sinbad kind of talks him out of it. He says, "Stand up for yourself," and he does, and it's a great scene. If you haven't seen it,
yeah,
if it's one of Phil Hartman's best scenes in the movie, his comedy is just, oh man, he's on another level. Like I had never had seen much of Phil Hartman. I know he was on the Pee Wee Herman Pee Wee's Playhouse for a little while. He did
we got Pee
SNL.
Wee connections. We've
Yeah,
had two Pee Wee connections in the last couple of weeks with Samuel Jackson and with Phil Hartman.
yeah, and I think he was on SNL too, right?
Yeah, Phil Hartman's from SNL. Yeah,
Yeah, and I haven't seen much of his work. It was mainly just Jingle All the Way. Now this, I just think he was so underutilized. Like that guy should have had a big career.
yeah.
And
He was in So I Married an Ex Murderer, which
I haven't seen
I
that.
don't remember. I don't remember that movie as much. Uh, he was up. He's on that TV show News Radio up until his death, unfortunately. Uh, and that's so bad, man. I,
Yeah,
I remember was heartbroken when I found out that he died and how he died. Um,
well, it was a
you
murder
know,
suicide, wasn't it?
yeah, his wife murdered him, and then she,
And she took her own life.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, took her life. Yeah, but he's in Small Soldiers. It's Phil Fimple. I don't know. I don't remember Small Soldiers like that. I don't remember him in that movie.
I
I haven't
remember
seen that
Jay
movie in so
Moore.
long.
Jay Moore's in that movie. Tommy Lee Jones does the voice of the main small soldier. He's the villain. He's a villain, I believe. But I don't remember Phil Hart. Maybe he plays the dad.
Maybe I just don't. I vaguely remember that movie. Sergeant Belko. He's in that.
Yes, he is
Um,
in that because he's the other guy. Dan Aykroyd's in that too.
yeah, I
I
don't.
love.
I don't remember Sergeant Belko. I remember
I
Steve
love
Martin
it.
in it, but I don't
Yeah, I
remember
love
much
it.
about it.
That's the only reason I watched it. And Steve's not that great in it, but
Hmm.
he's not. He's fine. He's just not. Um, Philip, he kind of
Yeah.
steals it.
He was in let's see, Stewart Saves His Family, which that's that, not Stewart like Stuart Little, but it was that Martin Short Stewart character. It's so dumb.
Not
I
Clifford,
can't
right?
say. Oh, maybe it is. Hold up. Who is this? No, it's that dumb. It's that movie I was talking about. Al Franken.
I
Al
don't know.
Franken. Um, this is a SNL.
I have never heard of it.
Oh yeah, that's fine. It's fine that you don't. It's an SNL. It's like it's Pat. It's just like I think SNL was like throwing things to see what stuck at that point. They're like, oh, we can. This was successful. I think Wayne's World maybe that was successful. Maybe we can do this. But but yeah, Phil, man, Phil, Phil, Phil was absolutely. He was a great what?
Keep going. Just keep going.
Oh, what are you laughing at? You laughing at me?
You're random today, man. I love it.
Hey man, I'm random. That's what we was gonna call this. No, we ain't talking about spoilers. But anyway, But
I think originally you wanted to something random, like
yeah,
totally random or
yeah,
something like that.
totally right, something like that. But Phil, Phil was one of those actors, man. That like I'm glad that he did voice work with The Simpsons. So if I ever watch and see Troy McClure, I know it's Phil Hartman.
Yeah,
Um, and like you can recognize his voice, you know immediately it's Phil Hartman talking, and
yeah,
because he has such a TV voice, he has such a TV voice. But I was gonna say this about him. There was a scene in this movie when Sinbad broke the news that he is Kevin uh, and not the his childhood friend. You can look and see the heartbreak in Phil's face. Like you can see his eyes kind of teary, getting kind of
yeah,
watery. And I was like, man, that's some good. You know, people don't give comedic actors enough credit that they can literally go to some some deeper levels. And you saw that with Jim Carrey. You see that with Jim. Obviously, you see that with Robin Williams. Mention him. He's like one of the greatest actors. Period. Not just comedic actors, but actors. Period. And you saw that with like anyone, like even uh, Mike Myers. You know, anyone that has taken on more freaking. You love Uncut Gems.
you gotta look at it this way too. I mean, you start off in comedy. It's a hard gig to do. You know, to do comedy, but most try to branch out in drama. One of the most successful ones was Tom Hanks. Like he was so successful, I didn't even realize he started.
Absolutely.
I never realized he started like, and what's his name? Leslie Nielsen was the opposite. He started out in drama and went to comedy. So I mean, yeah, I mean, comedians don't get the credit they deserve. But truth is, if you can do comedy, you can do everything. That's
Yeah, I agree. You know, the thing about Leslie, and I told you this before, like when I seen him in Creep Show, um, I knew him only from Naked Gun,
Yep.
or maybe even Airplane, maybe Airplane at the time. I'm not sure, but I knew him from that type of movie, and so I didn't think of him being. So when I seen him pop up, and now see Ted Danson in the same episode, I knew him from Cheers. I was thinking, oh, this should be funny because it's them two, you know.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, and I was like, what is happening? You know, it's just like, but Leslie, man, Leslie Nielsen,
You
yeah, he was
podcast
one of
him.
my, yeah, I did, but Leslie, I had no idea he was a serious actor before like Naked Gun and stuff. I
Yeah.
didn't know. But then again, I didn't know O.J. Simpson was a football player. I just knew him as
I
Norberg.
thought you were gonna go a different direction with that.
I just knew him as Norberg. I didn't know he played football. I didn't know. I didn't know. I'm gonna say this. It's controversial. I didn't know O.J. Simpson played football until he was accused of murdering his wife and Ron Goldman.
That's
Had
why
no
I
idea.
wanted to see Naked Gun to begin with, because I knew who O.J. Simpson was. He played for the Buffalo Bills. I didn't know him back then because that's before my time, but he was a commentator. I loved watching him talk about football. He was a great commentator. So when he did Naked Gun, that was my sole reason to watch it. I love him as Norberg. You know, I love that franchise altogether. So yeah, I thought you were going to go a different direction when you mentioned OJ, but it is controversial because you people don't want to talk about these people because they're, even though he's passed on, he
Yeah.
he either killed his wife and her boyfriend or he hired someone to do it, right? I mean, that's
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely. There is no question in my mind that he had something to do with that.
it's like nobody wanted to talk about Chris Benoit because of what he did, but
Yeah.
people tend to give him a pass because how amazing he was as a wrestler. I'm in the same boat. I love to watch him.
You know what?
He did something horrible.
I haven't been able to watch him since. I mean, I haven't sat down and watched Benoit been watch match or anything because it's just it's hard. It's a grimace. Same thing with this Jeffrey Jones or whatnot in this movie. When he came on screen, I forgot he was in this movie. So when he came on screen, I'd say, ugh, you know, like,
I
I
was
literally
actually
was like,
watching his interactions with the kids.
yes, me too. I wasn't the only one. Me too. I was like, I want to see if like, cause now that I know what I know about that Silver guy from Jeepers Creepers and stuff, going back, I see it. It's plain as day. That dude was a creepo. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, and and you see it like especially in Creeps, not Creeps, but Jeepers Creepers 2.
Oh,
He,
it's all over that movie.
what are you doing, man? Why? No one does it. No one does that. No one, no one does that. No, men don't go to the field and pee that way. We don't do that. We don't do that. You know this. You know you're a man. You should know this. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that creeper alone. But
Wow.
but anyway, I just love man. I just love their interaction, man. I love Phil. I love the scene where Phil decides to go after him, and they're running and they're running from the bad guys. Uh,
Hmm.
and then at the end, I love that they come together and they're singing that the different Christmas songs, but about food.
Yeah, yeah. It was.
That seems very ad libbed. It seems like it's very ad libbed.
It's it's a Christmas movie as well.
It is a Christmas movie, and that got me in the Christmas mood. It really did. I was
It's
like,
why
oh,
I feel it's a prequel to Jingle All the Way.
it's a circle.
I truly when I saw it as at Christmas time, I was like, man, this is Phil got a divorce between now and Jingle All the Way. He lost sole custody of the girl, or she went off to college. He still got the little boy. Turbo Man's huge 2 years from now.
You stupid.
I know it. I know it. I don't care.
So somewhere along the line, Kevin fell down on his luck and became a postal service worker. And he does have a kid. He got a kid along the way somewhere, and he wants to get his kid this Turbo Man as well.
Yeah.
And I think you're onto something.
I'm just saying.
But
We never see how old the kid is. It's logical. This could be
yeah,
like 5 years in the future. That's logical. And
now
they're very similar too. Kevin is very similar to his character in Jingle All the Way. It's not too far fetched. They're both
it's not
con
too
men.
far fetched.
I mean,
Yeah. This is some quotes from this movie. Kevin, if you, I'll be standing here pointing. There was a scene where he's like pointing at his
yeah,
girlfriend at the very beginning. Uh, let's see. Slap me five there, brother. How about I slap you?
yeah. I love that. I didn't do a review. I just I posted my score on it, but I was going to use that line. Slap me there, brother. How about I just slap you? I was going to use it for my review, but I didn't. I love that scene. No, it was so racist, though. It was. That was so racist. But that
Yeah.
character was a racist. He was a bigot.
Yeah, they said he's a bigot. I loved how Phil, like you said, when Phil stood up to him and quit.
Yeah.
And I also love when the daughter was like, no way, no how, see ya, and to the boyfriend, to Steve. He said, I was really, really icky to you. All right. Just like, because he's scared the whiteness back in that kid. But, oh man, I thought it was fun. Uh, I liked it, man. And the Brick House. Every time I hear the song Brick House, I immediately think of two movies. Two movies.
Two movies.
Brick House, Houseguest, and House of a Thousand Corpses because it was in that movie. It's random, but it's in that movie.
That's
It's
a
in that movie.
that's a big random there. House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah, they play Brick House
Do
in
they?
that movie. Yes, it's a weird transitional scene with of course Rob Zombie's wife because why wouldn't it have her in that scene? Mary,
I mean, he's got a feature.
whatever.
Otherwise, it's not a Rob Zombie movie if Sherry's not featured in somewhere.
Yeah, I want somebody should tell Rob, and also someone should tell somebody should tell Rob, and someone should tell uh, what's it? Tim Burton.
Tim Burton.
Just stop. Just stop.
Just stop.
You don't have to have Helen Bonaparte or whatever name in everything or Bohem. You don't need to have her in everything. And his new girlfriend is that DeLucci girl, Monica DeLucci or whatever.
I know who she is. She did. I don't know. She did a lot of. I want to say thrillers, like low budget thrillers. Back in
Monica
the 90s.
Bellucci. Yeah, that's his new woman. So she's gonna be in everything. Tim Burton now. Get ready for her to be shoved down off of.
It's kind of good for me because I don't watch a lot of Tim Burton, so I won't see a lot of what he does. So I won't see a lot of her. So.
But all right. So what's your final thoughts on it before we go ahead and give your numbers? Ready?
My final thoughts. This was a solid comedy. Sinbad was so likable, so relatable, especially for it felt 90s. Like I thought it was a good representation of what the 90s were like, and people were like in that time frame. I love Phil Hartman. I thought he stole the movie. He's just hilarious. But he's such a good guy. Like, you know, I don't know. He was so likable and charismatic, and I don't know. You love to see more of Phil in that movie. But I like pretty much even the thugs. I like them too. I thought they were funny. I like the story. I liked a little bit of everything. I'm gonna go a little higher than I did on Letterboxd. I'm gonna go 4 out of 5.
Okay.
It was a 90s gem. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate that I missed it 30-something years ago, or what, 40? I don't know how long it's been.
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
We're in 2024, so it's almost 95 to 2024. 30 years. It's almost 30 years old. Wow.
So it took me 30 years to watch this, pretty much. So
all right.
I hate that I missed it, but thanks to Aaron, the critic Whitlow.
All right. So for me, my final thoughts. I've always loved Sinbad. I've always loved him. Loved his stand up, and I just loved whenever he popped up in any movie, doing anything. Mm-hmm. And the idea that we had a couple of movies in the 90s that was Sinbad led, starring Sinbad as the and the titular guy. I was there for it, man, and he's so likable, and this is such a wholesome movie. Yeah. I feel like you should be able to show it with your family, and he, no matter how much he's conning people, he wasn't conning to hurt them, and he was wanting to make sure that they get things right and not do anything that is that's going to jeopardize their family, and and so I'm going to give it 4 as well because I feel like, and then also with Phil Hartman, I felt like Phil and Sinbad had such chemistry, and I felt like they really worked well together. And Phil Hartman, too bad he was taken too soon. I would love to have seen what he would have went on to do in his career.
Yeah.
And just it's a tragedy that we don't have him no more. But yeah, I'm gonna give it 4.
Well, I mean, 4 podcasts, 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
Just real quick here, I just want to get your thoughts on it. That they showed a picture yesterday on the set of Happy Gilmore 2. Ben Stiller returns to play that character. I just want to hear your thoughts. Everybody seems to be upset about it. I don't know what's happened, but I don't know why people hate Ben Stiller now. But not that I've ever really liked him. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. But
maybe because he was. It might be because he. It could be because he endorsed Kamala Harris as president of the United States, and a lot of Hollywood actors did. Most of the Avengers did. A lot of people did, and I didn't. I didn't endorse. I can say I don't care. I didn't endorse Kamala Harris. I like as far as like I didn't. She's never been a person for me. But regardless of whether you liked her or endorsed her or didn't endorse her, or you endorsed Trump or didn't endorse Trump, man, if I like your movies, I like your movies. Or if I like your stuff, I like your stuff. It does, like, George Clooney, I think endorsed Kamala, but it didn't stop me from watching Wolves. I thought Wolves was one of the best movies I've seen this year. And so I think it's so regardless of how people might feel about Ben Stiller, if that's what it is, that's done, man. I'm glad to see Ben working, and I would like to see him. I like this character in Happy Gilmore. Which I feel like it's the same guy from it's the same guy from Heavyweights, and it's also the same guy. That's my theory, and it's the same guy from Dodgeball. I feel like it's the same guy. I think he just went through different points in his life and did different things. I think it's still White Goodman, but yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious of what you thought about him actually. Well, not only getting a call, but actually accepting the role, come back for that sequel. I hope it's good. I hope it's a good movie. I hope it's a good sequel. I hope they're not. I hope it. I didn't see that movie, but I hope it's not Zoolander 2.
I didn't see that either.
I haven't seen the first one either. I know it was such a huge movie for its time, and they finally did a sequel to it. It wasn't. And Happy Gilmore is such a big movie for Adam Sandler. I hope it's not a mistake doing a sequel.
You know what I'm afraid of is this. We waited so long for Coming to America 2. And once we got it, we didn't really need it. You know what I mean? Like, because it didn't do anything to add to the story. To me, in my opinion, it was a setback for Eddie. And it's just in my opinion. I thought it wasn't good. I think it was on my list that year as one of the worst movies of the year.
Yeah, I think
that year. It's just I thought because I look so forward to it because I love Coming to America, and the first one was such a gold. It's such a gold mine. But it's unfortunate. So I hope my point is I hope the same isn't for Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, what I will say, he don't look like Happy. I mean, he looks like it's. I mean, I know it's been what 25 years, 30 years, whatever. But he looks like he's got the beard. You know, he looks like any old Sandler film. I mean, he don't look like Happy. I didn't see him in no jersey or nothing. It just, I don't know. You shouldn't judge it by one screenshot, but it just didn't look like that'd be Happy Gilmore. You know, it looked like it's just Adam Sandler. You know, today. I wished he would shave the beard for this role. But then again, if he does, he could look like Keanu Reeves did in the last Bill and Ted movie, and it just threw me off. Like
That's another one. Another one. You start, we want to see another Bill and Ted movie, but did we really need to see another Bill and Ted movie?
Keanu just doesn't look the same without a beard anymore.
You know what? The more I think about it, I can't think of in recent years a movie that we wanted to see that had some distance between it that worked out other than Top Gun, Maverick. That's the only one I can think of that people wanted a sequel to, and it stuck the landing.
I would say Beverly Hills Cop, Axel. F.
Yeah, that too. That did it because it fixed the issues of 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say also Aliens Romulus, even though that was a prequel, I think that stuck the landing as well.
Well, I mean, it was a sequel to Alien, but a prequel to Aliens. It was in between. But yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Wait a minute.
I think that landed.
Wait a minute.
I don't know what's going on.
All right, back. Gotta throw a dog out the door.
Oh, throwing a dog out. Did he literally throw the dog out the door? Is that what I just seen? Did you literally throw the dog out the door?
Yeah, I escorted him out the door.
We are so canceled.
This dog just decided to pee on the floor.
And we're still alive. This is great.
We're going to go ahead and conclude this podcast episode. If you like this, tune in and comment down below your favorite moments. We're out.
Probably the moment you threw the dog out the door.